Sophie Church had always been different. At 22 years of age, she already knew it very well. At 12, she had begun wearing makeup, despite her teacher's warnings, her mother's disapproval, and the whispers and scowls of her classmates. But it wasn't rebellion, exactly. It was curiosity that drove her. She watched as the foundation and powder sat on her skin, how they hid imperfections, and how they didn't always conceal the chemicals lurking underneath. Her own porcelain pure complexion was everyone's envy and the basis of study. Girls in the UK, the US, Australia, and elsewhere began experimenting with makeup between 12 and 15 years old. Sophie noticed patterns, overuse of foundation, reliance on expensive creams that promised youth but delivered irritation. She wondered, why weren't women taught the science behind their skin instead of being sold a promise wrapped in scientific glitter? At 22 years of age, she had an idea. It started with her smartphone, a ring light, and a simple message. The first thing she said was, "You were good enough without all that extra stuff." She began posting short-form videos on TikTok and YouTube. She did it daily, 5 minutes, sometimes 10, each post dissecting a beauty norm, exposing the hidden costs and poisons of cosmetic products, and showing women how to maintain healthy skin without these false additives. She highlighted her own routine, which was basically cleansing, and she promoted natural skincare products she genuinely believed in, small, ethical brands that shared her vision. The early videos went viral. Comments flooded in. Of course, some haters accused her of genetic privilege, pointing to her flawless skin. Sophie acknowledged it honestly. "Yes, I'm lucky. But I've studied this, I've analyzed what works and why, and I want to share it with you." By 23, Sophie's message had evolved. She stopped being merely anti-makeup. She encouraged authenticity, confidence, and the courage to reject societal pressures. In one live stream, she said, "Makeup isn't evil. Some women need it, some love it, some use it to cover scars. That's fine. But it should be your choice, not a requirement." Her following exploded. Emails poured in daily from girls seeking advice, from mothers curious about safe routines, from women desperate to reclaim the freedom to be themselves. That year, Sophie launched her first online training course, which she called Confidence Without Cosmetics. It sold out within weeks. She appeared on podcasts, her calm, assured voice cutting through the noise of the hysterical beauty industry. Occasionally, she was challenged. "Why preach traditional no makeup while flaunting your position on modern platforms and social media savvy?" Sophie smiled. "I'm not a traditionalist. I'm a realist. And I've been doubted by feminists too. My goal is simple. I want to empower women." At 24, Sophie decided it was time to create her first skincare product. She didn't work in her lab. Her kitchen sufficed. She mixed natural ingredients, tested, tweaked, and perfected the formula. Her first batch sold out within days. Soon, she was hiring her sister and brother to help pack and mail orders. When demand outstripped their small operation, she handed the formula to a botanical cosmetics company. Each week, she called them, demanding more. "We need to ship another 1,000 units this week." No excuses. By 25, Sophie's commercial and social media reach was international. She advised women in Australia and the sun-baked states in the south of the United States, like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Florida. She said, "Wear wide-brimmed hats and SPF 50+ sunscreen." She shared anti-aging tips for necks, hands, and décolletés, which is the polite term for women's chests. Followers in Egypt, the Middle East, and industrialized Chinese cities found her wisdom equally compelling. Older women joined too. Sophie's movement wasn't just for teenagers and young adults. It was for anyone who was tired of chasing a cosmetic ideal. Clubs, online communities, forums, and TikTok followers formed around her slogan, "Glow without paint." Women shared victories, struggles, and advice, creating a shared language and a mutual rebellion. This validation spread faster than any makeup brand advertisement. But fame came with its challenges. A popular podcaster suddenly alleged that Sophie secretly wore foundation makeup. Additionally, she accused her of using filters and lighting tricks during her podcasts. Rumors spread like wildfire. Sophie stayed silent for 3 days. Then a multinational conglomerate approached her, offering not just a possible buyout, but legal backing to get her balanced before negotiations began. Blistering lawsuits ensued. The individual podcaster quickly folded, publicly apologized, and retracted every spurious claim. Sophie's credibility soared. The negotiations with the conglomerate began. By 26 years old, Sophie had 20 natural skincare products under her brand. She sold her company to the multinational. It kept her as the public face of the brand, and she remained as its strategic guide. An experienced CEO ran the operations perfectly well. Sophie became a multimillionaire overnight. Her online courses expanded. Dating without makeup taught women confidence in personal relationships. Corporate presence without cosmetics instructed ambitious women on workplace dominance without hiding behind paint. Her podcasts attracted 5 million listeners. A book deal followed. Makeup Made Me Meek chronicled her journey, blending personal anecdotes with practical advice and moral guidance. It became an international bestseller. At 27, Sophie Church was no longer just an influencer. She was a founder, a media personality, and a business magnate. Every video, every course, every product was a statement. Women could thrive without succumbing to societal pressures. Sophie's morning started with a coffee on her balcony overlooking London. She checked her emails. 500 new sign-ups for her most popular course, a shipment request from a distributor in Shanghai, a fan message from a woman in New York thanking her for advice on avoiding premature aging. Her phone buzzed. Another media request. Can you speak to the ethics of cosmetic marketing? She smiled. She loved the pace, the whirlwind, the chaos, because that chaos had purpose. It began years earlier, at age 12. A foundation brush in hand, facing a mirror, feeling awkward. Her mother had said, "You don't need that, Sophie. You're beautiful as you are." Her teachers had whispered, "You'll regret it if you start young." And she had thought maybe, "But I want to understand why, and then I'll teach others." From that thought came a TikTok video, then a YouTube channel, then an email list, then a kitchen-based skincare line, then a multinational buyout. Sophie never stopped learning. She read scientific journals on dermatology. She explored herbal remedies. She traveled to meet chemists and estheticians. She studied marketing, finance, and consumer psychology. She wasn't just selling creams, she was selling empowerment. Her following became a community. Women shared tips, stories, and even failures. Sophie celebrated them all, broadcasting her gratitude and enthusiasm. In one viral clip, she said, "Your skin is yours. Your confidence is yours. Only you know." Some skeptics remained. They asked if she really walked the walk. Her answer was always calm, confident, and thorough. "I face the sun with SPF. I sleep well. I eat properly. I train. I hydrate. And I share everything I learn. You can do the same. You just have to start." Her methods were simple, her message radical. In a world obsessed with masking flaws, she taught women to reveal themselves, to thrive, to lead. At 27 years old, Sophie's office was sleek but unpretentious. Glass walls, natural light, plants everywhere. Her team worked quietly, efficiently. Yet the office buzzed with energy. There was always a launch, a course, a podcast, or an international collaboration in progress. Sophie floated between meetings and live streams, her presence anchoring the brand. The conglomerate respected her vision. They handled operations, logistics, and distribution. She guided product development, marketing, and content strategy. The result? A brand that maintained authenticity while scaling globally. She looked out at the skyline again, reflecting. It had been 15 years of observation, research, and daring risk-taking. 15 years from a curious 12-year-old experimenting with foundation to a 27-year-old media mogul. And she wasn't done. Next on her agenda was expanding her skincare line to include men, teenagers, and older women. She planned more courses on developing emotional confidence. She was developing partnerships with schools to teach young girls about healthy habits and self-esteem. She dreamed of global campaigns to challenge misleading marketing. Sophie smiled. The world was listening, and she had only just begun. Glow without paint wasn't just a slogan. It was a revolution.